This is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook live show. It is Thursday. We got 6 games here to talk about on this DraftKings main slate. It was trade deadline Thursday. We had more moves throughout the day. We had moves late last night that occurred that are going to be impacting some of the slate here. Grande, you were on the Playbook today. You had to navigate a lot of the news. You had a nice little write-up there. I saw you shared in the Discord, sort of breaking down the 3 teams that could be a bit short-handed this evening. 4 teams. That could be a bit short-handed here this evening, and what that could mean for tonight's main slate, man.
Yeah, I mean, overall, pretty good slate. I'm just happy that the deadline and the games don't run up kind of close to one another, because that would be an absolute nightmare, trying to sift through everything. But we've pretty much gotten, we had the late Xavier Tillman trade, which happened an hour and a half after the deadline. Apparently they just didn't care very much. They were like, we'll come back. We filed this, but we'll come back to it later. Yeah. I'm sure Xavier Tillman was ecstatic to know he was traded an hour and a half after the deadline. But yeah, all in all, my team became significantly more guard heavy today, which is always great when you just acquire more guards.
Hey, Celtics acquired a guard today.
Yeah, but you guys also have centers on your roster.
We do.
I guess we do too. We have Nick Richards. Shout out, Nick Richards is going to lead us to a championship this year. But yeah, I mean, there are 4 situations where we need to basically pay attention to: the Bulls, the Jazz, the Wizards, the Mavericks. Everything else kind of is what it is, but those teams can be pretty short-handed. John, right now the Bulls with Jaden Ivey have 7 available.
Yes.
That is illegal to play with.
Correct.
So one of the traded pieces need to at least dress today.
Right.
They listed Ousmane Dieng and Colin Sexton as questionable. There's nothing yet on Simons. As of the 45 injury report, there was nothing on Anthony Simons. So I guess in theory, Anthony Simons could end up being available. I think he's kind of out. I think the 8th person is going to end up either being Colin Sexton or Ousmane Dieng. So they have 7, maybe 8. The Jazz had 10. Mm-hmm. Then they traded John Tongi, who we talked about last night, who was called up from the G League.
Yeah.
He's now a Celtic. Yeah, he's now a Celtic. So they currently have 9, 10 if Kevin Love plays, and it could be 8 if Yusuf Nurkic doesn't start, right? Because if Kevin Love and here's John has it up on the screen. I basically broke down all the who's what's of each of these situations.
If you guys don't have the Fantasy Alarm Playbook All Pro package already, this is just a piece of our NBA DFS Playbook for today. So a little premium content sneak peek, but it just, for the segment, we'll show you kind of what we got in here.
Yeah, I mean, we're
talking about it, so might as well have the visual.
Yeah, definitely trying to just make sure everyone is up to speed. The Mavs could be down to 9. With Brandon Williams and Daniel Gafford both listed questionable. So we don't know what's available there. And then the Wizards, because they did that Anthony Davis trade yesterday and traded half their depth pieces, they have 10. Skal Labissiere is currently with the G League team. So those are the 4 situations where the Bulls will be shorthanded.
Yeah.
Period. The Jazz most likely will be shorthanded, and then the Wizards and Mavs could be pretty shorthanded as well. So all situations we need to really monitor. There's obviously injury news that we're waiting for. Cade Cunningham, Tobias Harris, the Pistons. Mm-hmm. That's some big stuff.
7 o'clock game at least, so we'll get
7 o'clock. By the way, we met last night. after we recorded, Dennis Jenkins was ruled out. So like they don't even have Dennis Jenkins to be the backup if Cade's ultimately ruled out. Onyeka Okongwu might return. Sneaky in tonight, John. Jock Landale available for Atlanta tonight. So if Okongwu doesn't play, could we get some Jocks starting out of the gate?
Sure. It's just basketball, right? They know how to play.
Just basketball. Tari Eason was a surprising questionable today. I thought he would be out, but maybe that's just them being nice to Tari Eason, being like,
they do eventually got to get him playing back-to-backs. True. I mean, like, you know, I guess they don't. There's no back-to-backs in playoffs.
I was going to say, do you? There's no back-to-backs in
playoffs. That's true. All right. So we do appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Hit that like, share, subscribe button if you're not yet a member of Fantasy Alarm. As I said, we got the 50% off promo for that first month going on right now. FantasyAlarm.com/YouTube, promo code YT50, $19.99 for that first month. It's all DFS betting and seasonal content for all sports. We're on a heater in DFS. We're on a heater with sports betting, especially in the NBA here as well. So pays for itself pretty quickly for you guys who are not yet signed up and checked us out. Chat, everybody's popping in here. Love all the support. Vic says, let's print some money. Patrick saying, let's get after it. The Prince says, Yer. Good evening, says Jeff. Preffy says, I don't even know what this is.
I don't know. I have no
clue. I don't know what that is.
Honestly, it sounds like a country star who then didn't get any views, so he went to rap.
Yeah, I tried not to swear while saying it. It sounded like my mind wanted to say the F word, I think. Like in before they show up. That'd be cool if you guys want to hit that like button. Cujo always popping in saying hello. Horn for the slate tonight.
Every day. This guy is horned up every day, dude.
Justin here saying hola. Our guy Rolly with some nice comments for us earlier today. Appreciate you, fine sir.
Big tournament. Rolly's always
big tournament takedown for him.
Yeah. Two, I've always said this to you. I always see Rolly in all the single entry streets because he's rocking the same name and the same logo. And
you're showing me screenshots. We have our eyes on you guys in the tournaments. Don't you worry about it. Mr. Daredevil says, good luck. Whoever wins tonight has a horseshoe up their ass. That's true. That's probably true. Dave says, fellas. Justin says that Cavs won the deadline. And Grant and I had a little conversation about this earlier. I would disagree with you, but that's fine. We'll see. We'll see what happens. If the Celtics go out there and sign Cam Thomas, because with all the open salary they signed, I'd say they did a better deal than getting James Loser Harden on their team.
But they also got Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder for depth as well. Like that's Cleveland,
they needed some guards, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. He used to make NBA DFS content. I've never heard of him. So
he's not a rapper.
Not a rapper. He used to be an NBA DFS guy. He says he loves the trade deadline. I see through you said the Bulls are awful in the front office.
We are. It's the worst. They need to fire everybody. AK has something on the Reinsdorfs because he just won't fire.
Diabate turned into tonight's Queta. Queta went last night. A big game for Neemias Queta. Jake says the Celtics won the deadline. We'll talk about your core play there, DFS buddy, here in a few, but that looks pretty good to me. So, all right, point guard position. Cade's 10-2. We don't know. Cooper Flag at $8,700. Eamon Thompson, $84. LaMelo at $78. Fox at $75. I mean, there's a bunch of 7K guards here. How are you prioritizing this position today? Because, well, everybody's playing your Chicago Bulls.
Everyone is playing the Bulls. John, we've seen it. I'll say this before we get into it much further. We've seen it back-to-back days where teams have had 8 players. Those teams were prominently figured into winning tournaments.
Yep, you said 4 or 5 Thunder.
Yeah, the winner of I think it was, I forget what single entry. Maybe the $5 had 5 Thunder last night. So Brendan Carlson, I think, was the 5th, which, he didn't have a great game, but just saying you can do it. Yeah, they just had him. It allowed them to get to others, right? Yeah. So obviously we need to, the Bulls are popular for a reason. I think Cade Looks. Oh yeah, you know what?
Klung's there, yeah.
McClung is the 8th guy currently, so they don't need. They signed McClung. I even tweeted that today, so I need to update that.
So they need a dunker in tonight's game. They got it.
Yes, they do. Mac McClung. I completely forgot they signed him to a contract today. So they do have 8 available.
It doesn't really make sense why those guys wouldn't be able to play because again, they were just actively playing NBA games yesterday or the day before that. Like,
well, some of the trades aren't completed yet.
That's fair.
Which is that's the problem. Some of it's more of a trade completion. Like when you look at the injury report,
Sexton is questionable. Sexton should just play, right? Like,
yeah, I mean they should be able to get the trade done from literally yesterday till 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. tonight, right? Like that's not 7:30, whatever time they play. Cade looks great, obviously.
14.5 point spread.
14.5 point spread. We don't even know if Cade's going to play in this game. He looks amazing if he plays. If this game can stay close, he goes for 70.
As I say, in a game they won by basically 70, he had 56 fantasy points in 26 minutes still. So,
Yes, they have to have full physicals. Full physicals are not going to take a full day. So, obviously, you need to arrive and in the spot. I've seen video of Anthony Simons in Chicago 6 hours ago with Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey's listed probable. Anthony Simons is not. So, everything moves at a different pace. Cooper Flagg looks. Do you want to talk Cooper Flagg here or small forward?
I mean, I'm fine talking about him here. I mean, he's been unbelievable. Win or lose, he's out there playing almost 40 minutes. So, yeah, like Cooper Flagg's him. I'm fine talking about him.
Yeah, I think, without AD and PJ Washington this year, Cooper Flagg, 29% usage, 4% usage bump, over 1.2 fantasy points per minute. He's obviously on a little bit of a heater as well. And this team could have 9 players tonight. We'll see if Williams and Gafford play, but they could have 9. And you mentioned the Flagg minutes have been tremendous. So I think Cooper Flagg looks very good.
Yeah, we wrote up the over 22.5 points for him tonight just because I think, like, if nothing else, he's going to take like 30 shots, right? Like he's going to take a bunch of shots, going to be a 40% usage guy potentially, even in a losing effort, he's going to be out there. So the points just felt easy to come by there potentially. So
yeah, it's like not an easy matchup, but Guess what? Neither was Houston, neither was Boston, and Cooper Flagg is coming off 36 and 34 in those 2 games. So
scored 49 for Charlotte, and actually Charlotte's been one of the better teams in the league for the last
one of the better teams in the NBA. Yeah, Charlotte might have had one of the better deadlines.
Possibly Xavier Tillman, big ad.
Xavier Tillman, big ad. Amen Thompson, we've talked about it. He's going to play 40 minutes in a competitive game. That's great. If you want to play Amen Thompson, who's going to play 40 minutes in a competitive game,
yeah,
I have no problem.
When I talked about the competitive game yesterday, I thought it was going to go the other way.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about this, right? Yeah. We've talked about this. And then LaMelo. Yeah, I mean, I think LaMelo looks good in tournaments. It's not an easy spot. They do get Charlotte Houston on the second leg of a back-to-back. He is playing more in competitive games. I mean, the last 5 competitive games played, he's played 28 or more minutes. The last 4, he's played 30 plus minutes. That is the most important thing when it comes to LaMelo. He is basically going to get you value in competitive games. Yeah. There's a big ceiling at 78.
And if they don't have Sexton and they don't have Kobe, obviously traded, and Kobe White he's not active today, right? Kobe White.
They already said he's not going to play until after the deadline.
Right.
I don't understand. I don't know why he's not going to play till after the deadline, but
isn't that well?
Or after the All-Star break. After the All-Star break.
So like if does LaMelo just by product get more minutes now because there's less backup depth behind him at the guard position? They gotta throw Zion James out there for Sexton level minutes? I don't think so.
I mean, they kept Trey Mann.
Yeah. But he's not a true point guard, Trey Mann. He's a scoring guard.
Yeah, but like you could
I just think there might be more of a ceiling for LaMelo right now with potentially who the depth behind him is.
I don't necessarily disagree, but I don't want to like.
I'm not going to say he's going to play 38, but I think if he told me like sticking with 32, 33 minutes is a viable play.
Sure. I mean, that feels very correct. 32, 33 feels correct.
De'Aaron Fox, 75. Harper's questionable again for this one. Dyson Daniels, 72. Anthony Black, Emmanuel Quickly, your next couple guards here.
Yeah, I mean, Fox, he had a really good game last night. I wouldn't be surprised if he had another good game. Dylan Harper's listed questionable again. So I would
assist numbers. That I was kind of kicking myself last night because I went back and forth hard on De'Aaron Fox. It's like 7.5 assists, I think it was, or 6.5, and I thought they were just going to win by more. They actually played a competitive game because you say all the time, don't judge blowouts, and he had another 10 assist game there. So if Dallas can hang around, which I don't think they should be able to, but if Flag goes off and scores 50, Fox over assist could be a play tonight again, folks.
You started so good, and then you just went totally just collapsed. You're like, we say it all the time.
Say it all. It's 9.5.
Look, but when this game inevitably blows out, it's like, no, John, no, you had it.
Down to 8.5. Oh, man. Go get some Fox assists possibly.
Yeah, I think Fox looks pretty good, especially if Harper ends up sitting again. Dyson is okay. I've grown a little bit. Atlanta made a lot of trades. So many trades.
Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield.
Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield. They sent Kennard packing today.
Is this Hield's second go around with Atlanta? Has he played for Atlanta before? Am I making that up? Am I confusing him with somebody?
New Orleans, Philly, Golden State. Maybe
never. Pacers, Philly, Golden State. Maybe it's the one stop with Philly that I'm thinking of. So, yeah. I mean, he basically replaces the Kennard role.
Yeah, so. and Krejci, who they also traded because they
give Kispert more minutes. I guess.
Yeah, Kispert and Hield are probably your new Krejci and Kennard. But I think Daniels is okay just with all the trades that they've made. Very lukewarm on Anthony Black. I do think Quickly looks pretty good with the RJ Barrett downgrade today. No Barrett and no Pirtle, obviously. Yeah. Emmanuel Quickly, biggest usage bump on the team, almost 2.5%, up to 24%, 1.1 fantasy points per minute. Another situation where, like, in theory, the game should not stay close, but the Bulls are getting the Raptors on the second leg of a back-to-back.
Only 7.5 points. This one was so I took Toronto minus 7.5 in this game. I don't know if Chicago has who they have on the floor, player for player, talent wise. This should be an easy win for Toronto at home. But
yeah, I mean, second leg of a back-to-back, no Barrett.
But if you're drafting this game, you're taking like 4 Raptors before you're taking your first Bull, right? Like
in real life.
Yeah, like you're a pickup game, right? And all the rosters are on the floor, right? Like 4 Raptors are being picked before you take your first Chicago Bull. Probably.
Yeah, but the Raptors don't know what's coming. The Bulls are sending 5 guards out there.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't have any idea what's about to come at them. So
Yuki's about to just tear them up,
dude. We're finally rebuilding around Yuki. We trusted the process for long enough. Yeah, I think Quickly looks really good if that game could stay competitive. I mean, again, biggest usage bump on the team, really solid production without Barrett and Pirtle. So, yeah, I think the 7K tier looks pretty good.
6K. Collier, 6,900. His assist prop was 11.5 today because
that is hilarious.
He's going to play 40 minutes. 6,900 for him. CJM, obviously in a good spot opposite. Utah gives up a ton of threes. CJ likes to take a lot of threes. He has days where he makes a lot of threes. So there's that. And then you have Suggs at 6K here as well.
I'm a little. I wonder if the Collier ownership is correlated with the Nurkic ownership, because Nurk has gotten a lot of ownership today, basically all day. and Collier hasn't,
Sure.
right? And he played 48 minutes the other day, and obviously Yusuf Nurkic is a good facilitator. We just saw 3 straight triple doubles out of Nurk, like just last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever
You also have no idea if he's going to play or not. So.
Right. And we will know pretty early, 7:30 start. I'm a little bullish on Collier if we're gonna get the ownership we're gonna get. I mean, we just talked about it. Like they don't have another guard, right? Like they don't have another lead guard. Like Cody Williams is gonna die if he tries to handle the basketball. Ace Bailey is 6'10". There's no shot Dyson Daniels doesn't steal the ball from him every time up the court if they put Ace Bailey as a dude. I set the over under to, and last night we were like, oh, Tanji probably gets a couple minutes because they don't have any. Nope. He's a Celtic.
Not
so like
game, yeah.
Over under 39.5 minutes again for Isaiah Collier.
I said 40. I said 40 on the show. I think 40 probably is realistic here.
Do you feel comfortable like saying he goes way over that number?
Way over 40?
44 and a half over under.
I would go under, but to your point, they don't have another point guard. So
they don't have another guard. Like Svi is the only other guard on this team.
Yeah. All right. Yep. I'm with you. I think he plays a bajillion minutes. So can he be as productive in this game as he was the other day? That's hard to say, but if you're on the court for 48 minutes, you're going to have plenty of opportunity.
You guys should have heard when I asked John if he thought Isaiah Collier's performance was impressive, and he said what he said. And he said, well, he played 48 minutes.
He did play 48 minutes,
but
he had plenty of opportunities to do what he did.
If he plays another 45 minutes, there's no way 10% of the field, 10%, 90% of the field is kicking themselves.
Sure.
So, Steve, if you're just getting here, which I assume you are because we talked about it, the Jazz currently have 9. Kevin Love could make it 10. Oscar Tshiebwe is available. John Tanji started the day available, and now he is on the Celtics. So they currently have 9. Kevin Love would be 10. And then we know that if Nurkic is not in the starting lineup, that's back to 9 or possibly 8 again, right? So I don't know, man. I feel like the field is maybe it's a Ryan Rollins situation, right? Where we just weren't used to we weren't used to the price, and that's why no one's playing a $6,900 Isaiah Collier. But
yeah, he's only 10%. Jalen Suggs is almost 20%. Emmanuel Quickly 17%. CJM 17%. LaMelo's 15%. So all of those guys in sort of the mid range are getting more ownership than Collier.
How many of them would you play over Collier?
If you
just mentioned,
is Collier playing 48 minutes tonight? I probably wouldn't play any of them over Collier.
Well, even at 40. If he plays 40 minutes tonight,
I'd be hard pressed to play any of them. I would play Cooper Flagg over Collier, but there's a significant price difference there. I don't think I'd play Collier over any of those. I wouldn't play any of those guys over Collier if Collier is playing 40 minutes. I don't think.
Like Will Hardy told us after the game, like there's not going to be many times where he's playing 48.
Yeah.
They just might need it once more, like.
Or okay, he doesn't play 48, he plays 47.
He gets 1 minute. He's like, Coach, I just need a breather. Give me like a minute and then the timeout, the TV timeout, and I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, but Suggs is almost 20%. So people are going to Jalen Suggs at 6K. Collier's 10% as of now. This could certainly update, and we will have more updated ownership as we get closer to the 7 p.m. roster lock here. It then just drops all the way down to value. I mean, again, Jaden Ivey's 39, Colin Sexton's 43, Yuki's 36. We don't know who's going to be available of the first two. We assume Ivy is because he's probable. Does Jaden Ivey just jump in and play 35 minutes tonight?
I mean, he can. It's viable.
He's over 50% rostered tonight.
there is no telling what the Bulls are going to do. Buzelis is going to start. Jalen Smith is going to start. Isaac Okoro is going to start. And then it's anyone's guess, right? It could be Patrick Williams could draw the start just because he's the longest tenured Bull on the team. Like he's grandfathered in.
I wrote up over 11.5 points for Patrick Williams tonight just because he had 28% usage rate last game. So I mean, if they're just down players, like
no, they are if they're
I know
if they are just down players,
right? And they're down big players. So he's not a guard. He's basically their backup center at this point. So
I think Ivy could realistically range of outcome like 24 to like 38 minutes. And same thing with Yuki, who probably has that range of outcome for minutes too. Like
Yuki's kind of interesting because he's doing this, right? He's just giving you a little bit of everything in his time out there. So
keyword little.
Yeah.
Because if you've seen Yuki,
small.
He is small. He's definitely the smallest player in the
NBA. He's an ankle biter. That one right there,
He is what is his official height?
I think
he's 5'7". Yeah, I think he's 5'7". He's 5'8". He's 5'8". I don't necessarily believe it, but so Basketball Reference actually has him at 5'8", 5'7". Wikipedia has him at 5'8". So we have to get Yuki on the phone to figure out his real height.
Either way, he's out there,
firmly in play. And then if Sexton suits up, same thing.
Yeah, 100%.
You can play them all. You can play them all. We play them all. They might have 8. They might have 9.
Anything else that you'd look at here?
I don't. There's like, what are we doing if we're playing anything else there? I don't know. I guess you can play. I guess you can salute Bub Carrington, but it's like the worst spot ever.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll go to shooting guard then here. Over at shooting guard, from an ownership perspective, 2 of those guys have dual eligibility in Ivy and Sexton, so they own the ownership there. CGM also dual eligibility, so he's up there for ownership. KD's 15% as your top spend up there. 10% in on Brandon Ingram tonight. Keyshawn's not getting any real love. I mean, are you looking to spend up at shooting guard today?
I'm usually lukewarm on Kevin Durant when they're healthy, especially when he hovers around 9K. I acknowledge that Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant and can have good games. So if you want to play him in a tournament, you can.
Ron Harper Jr. is defending him, then he can't.
True, sure. Ron Harper, when he's guarded by Ron Harper Jr., don't even think about it. You can't do it.
Can't do it.
Ron Harper, last I checked, does not play for Charlotte. Will also not be sending the scouting report to Charlotte. So you can play KD if you want. I prefer Ingram for sure. Again, last night I was like kind of out. RJ Barrett gets ruled out. I'm reeled back in. I mean, it's a great spot, dude. Like, Chicago is short-handed, as we mentioned, and short. They're not just short-handed. They are short, like, as a team, collectively. Yeah. Brandon Ingram is a tall guard. Height. Yes, they are playing a lot of guards. They are short-handed in amount of players and in height compared to everyone else in the NBA.
You know where they're not short tonight?
Heart. You know what? Yeah. Okay. Shout out Shane Falco, and that's what Falco has. That's what
need heart.
Yeah, need heart. Nice. Gene Hackman. Shout out Gene Hackman for all the GOAT quotes in that movie. So I like Ingram. Really good usage rate, good fantasy point per minute output without Barrett and Pirtle. You can play the Wizards again. They look like they just have 10 players tonight. Terrible spot, not fun at all. It doesn't get any more fun if like Isaiah Stewart and Ron Holland are playing more either. Like that makes it worse for Washington. So like Keyshawn's whatever. NAW is a good play. I mean, I think Atlanta looks as good as anybody on this slate. They have the worst defense in the NBA on the other side. Mm-hmm. We talked about all the trades that they've made. Okongwu could still be out. And even if Jock Landale did play, it's not like he's ever going to be Kristaps Porzingis or Okongwu, especially in his first game with the team.
Yeah.
It's still going to float through Jalen and NAW and Dyson and McCollum. So
Sure.
I like NAW quite a bit at 7K as well.
Okay. From the rest of this mid range, Najee Marshall, $6,500 is getting some ownership, just because again of who Dallas has available to them. Stephen Castle's like 10%, Max Christie 10%. Desmond Bain is only 6. Would you play anything else in this mid spot?
No, before I don't
Yeah.
know if Cookie just changed his picture to this, John, but he literally that's the kicker from the replacements.
The replacements, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The guy he gets in all the bar fights.
Yeah.
Smokes cigarettes on the field.
He's the one that was supposed to miss the kick because the
kick.
You know, they're gonna take his pub.
He must have heard us talking replacements and got excited. He was just like, I gotta get out. I gotta get out there. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Yeah,
it was good timing. Yeah, I think Najee Marshall looks pretty good. I mean, Dallas could have 9 players, good usage, good fantasy per minute output.
He's missing shots lately.
Yeah, he's just missing shots, dude. The minutes are still good. Everything's still good for Najee here. McCollum, we didn't really talk about, but he's been like 27
threes. He just takes a lot of threes.
Yeah, dude, 27% usage with the Hawks over a fantasy point per minute. I think 30 minutes is well within the range of outcome here in a competitive game. So
I was tempted on the over 2.5 3-pointers. I didn't officially write it up or put it on the bet tracker yet. Maybe that'll get added in before tip there. But
do you have any Atlanta bets? You have Jalen?
I don't have any bets in this game. Utah Atlanta.
Atlanta has 126 implied points.
I know. I wanted to do Jalen Johnson, but I didn't pull on anything yet. So.
Okay.
Sensabaugh, other side of that, $5,700. Ken Christie's here. Duncan Robinson's 44. Is there anything else that you would play? Herder's 42. I don't know. I'm trailing off because there's not much I like. So
yeah, I mean, Sensabaugh I think is fine with how shorthanded they are. My feelings on Christie. That doesn't change whether they have 9 players or not. 5K.
Yeah, it's hard when Flag is a 40% usage rate right now that you're gonna like.
Yeah, and Najee's high. Najee has like a good one too. So you can play Sexton here. I don't love Herder. I just don't know what the role is going to be. Because I guess in theory, if Toby and Cade were to sit, then you could make a case for Herder. But I would just play Karis LeVert in that situation. $500 less. I would just play Karis LeVert if Cade were to sit, because they don't have Dennis Jenkins either, right? So we didn't talk Sasser. Oh, Dennis is available. I take it back. Okay. No. He's out because the two-way. That's what it was. He is out of games, so Detroit needs to
sign him, or
they need to sign him to a contract, or he cannot play again. He's out of games. That's what it was. So Sasser is available. If Cade were to sit. But yeah, the Bulls stuff. We had a couple of comments here. Gophie said Yuki.
Yeah.
And I think, yes, we talked about him. And then the Bulls, all the rest of the Bulls stuff for sure.
Okay. We'll go on over to small forward here then. KD can be played here. Flag can be played here. Michael Porter Jr. is 86. Brendan Miller, $7,300. A lot of retreads with the dual eligibility. Where are you looking to go when it comes to small forward this evening?
I mean, Coop is here. It makes it a lot easier.
It does. Yep, absolutely.
So that
all the value at point guard, just play Cooper Flag at small forward.
Yeah, that's basically.
Which, by the way, no one's doing. He's only 15% owned right now. So
small forward is a position I don't think a lot of people are very sure of what to do, because the ownership is really spread out. I mean, the obvious answer would be play Okoro. He's going to play 40 minutes. He did last game. But it's 40 minutes of Isaac Okoro is not 40 minutes of anybody else. That doesn't mean a lot. So, I think Cooper looks really good at small forward. You could always play MPJ in a tournament. You can always play Brandon Miller in a tournament. Those two guys they just fill it up. I think NEW, if you're going to play NEW, I think he looks better as a small forward.
He's currently the highest roster small forward NEW. So
yeah, I think he looks really good as a small forward. Is he? I have to update because Okoro's ownership dropped off pretty bit.
We just had an update, and I'll get that put on site here in a few moments. I know we had someone watch the show the other day, and we were talking about the updates to the ownership, but they weren't reflected on the site at the same time. We'll get the ownership updated after the show for you guys. But as of now, NEW is around 20%, highest small forward. Some Washington guys have some ownership here. Jameer Watkins, $3,200. He's up over 15%. Justin Champagnie is around 15% as well. Just for some value plays, would you take a look at anybody else in this like lower half of the position?
Yeah, we'll get to Washington in a second. I think Najee is okay. Ace Bailey, I think you do need the minimum players for Utah to get to Ace Bailey because, without Keontae George, he's a 0.82 fantasy point per minute player. But at 40 minutes, that's fine. You don't need more than 0.82 at 40 minutes, but you need the minutes.
And he was almost a full fantasy point per minute in that game. So
almost a full fantasy point per minute in that game. Asar would be the standout if Cade and Toby were to end up sitting out. Honestly, if just Cade were to sit out, Asar would be the standout here.
Yep.
His ownership would skyrocket. I think Washington, because we didn't get a full glimpse of what they're going to do and whether or not they're just going to run that, play the starters 3 quarters and then the bench in the fourth moving forward. Nobody knows what to do. I also think Watkins, because they only have 10 and because he's been in the rotation and because he'll obviously play in a blowout, there's a lot of things kind of pointing to Jameer Watkins as a good value. You need 16 fantasy points for 5x. He has consistently done that lately when he's been extended. It's not an easy spot to necessarily get to, but that there's obvious minutes to play. He's going to play because they traded all the pieces they traded and the other Dallas pieces are not available. And then there's the potential in a 15-point spread where if the game were to blow out, he plays. So, I understand it. Champagnie, you would rather, I think, in a situation where the game would stay competitive because he is definitely a candidate to start with Chris Middleton now traded. So we don't know if he would close in a blowout if he starts. So, I'm okay with the Washington stuff, but it's all very, very, very risky.
Okay. Anything else a small forward you look at?
I mean, I do think Okoro is at least an option because he played 40 minutes, but you don't really need to I'm not going to expand on it much more than that. He is incredibly boring. But 40 minutes, he plays 40 minutes is what it is.
Okay.
Risha Shea at 4,100. I mean, look, he's only played in 2 games since the return from injury. He only played 23 minutes last game. If he gets 26, 27 minutes tonight, I don't hate Zachary Risha Shea. They, all those talks about him being traded just to not, they trade everybody else around him. Basically, all right, let's see what you got. You were literally the first pick last year. And so I do think that the playing time is gonna trend up. So I wouldn't mind taking a shot on Risha Shea here.
Going on over to power forward then. Up at the top is the cover of the playbook. Jalen Johnson, 10-5. He is the 3rd highest rostered at this position, but he is the highest of the spend ups. Obviously, you have a couple of Bulls with some higher rostership than he does, but Johnson and Scotty Barnes actually kind of right next to one another. How are you looking at the top power forward tonight?
I mean,
Okongwu officially ruled out just now, by the way. So
Okongwu out, huh?
Yes. As we were talking about Jalen Johnson. So.
Okay. I mean, Jalen Johnson's the best play of the slate. And I don't know why. Like, I don't believe the ownership, John.
You think he's more than 23%, 24% right now?
I think that he is easily 50+% in all single entry contests. I think he's probably going to be 40% rostered in large field tournaments too.
Okay.
You have an elite fantasy player in an elite matchup, the best matchup on the board, right? They have 126 implied points for a guy who routinely plays 36, 37, 38, 39 minutes.
Yeah.
There is the only downside is if this game gets out of hand. But like Atlanta isn't, I mean, it's a 9.5 point spread, but there's 244 implied points in this game.
If Utah lets Lauri Markkanen play 35 minutes tonight, this game probably won't blow out, right?
Dude, every game Nurkic plays, the game is competitive.
100%.
Every game Nurkic plays, because they just score. When Nurkic is on the floor, they're an orchestra, right?
You're almost rhyming. You're almost rhyming there. You got a little cipher going. So,
I mean, I was an MC back in my day. John,
I remember.
So yeah, I have a hard time. Landale is available, Justin. I have a hard time not just like, it's like Jalen Johnson in my lineup, move on from there. And obviously, like, if you're a multi-entry player, yes. Would I differentiate in certain spots? Of course. But I want to be at this number, which again, for the record, let the record state, I do not believe at all I will be like 2x, 3x, 4x the field at that number.
You'll be 4x the field. 4x the field would put you at 100%. So
80. I was thinking it was at 20. I was hoping to go like
3x, 3.5x the field, something like that. Yeah.
I'll be so much higher than the field. That's what I could have done.
Yeah. I mean, double the field's still good, so
I'm going more than double the field.
Okay.
Jake, let me ask you this, okay? Why would you want to be under? I'm just curious. Why would you want to be under Jalen Johnson in a game? There's 126 applied points on his side, 244 points implied in this game. It's only a 9.5 point spread. He is a 1.5 fantasy point per minute player without Trae Young, Onyeka Okongwu, and co. Utah is 30th in defense. What is like the legit reason you would, just to be different? Is that's the only reason, right? And because he's not even getting a lot of ownership right now.
No. Again, but if you're expecting it to be higher.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. So it's him and Scotty Barnes have the same ownership. So people are saving some money and going to Scotty here if they're not playing Jalen Johnson. Obviously, he had another good game. Someone the other day yesterday in our chat, said, got to play Scotty Barnes. They weren't wrong. 50 fantasy points, 22, 10, and 8 in that game against Minnesota. We know what Scotty Barnes is taller than anybody Chicago has on their team. So, very, very capable of dominating no RJ Barrett. Chicago have no problems getting there if you want to. What do you do with Banchero at 93 wedged between those guys?
Paolo, salute.
Just out there.
Hope you do well for my fantasy team tonight. In seasonal. No, I mean, Paolo's a fine pivot.
Okay. There's
always, right? Like, there's two guys that are significantly higher owned. Paolo's in like the teens in ownership. Then you can pivot. It's a miserably slow game. Like, that game is the worst when it comes to pace. There's 214 applied points. I'm not saying like it's going to end like that, but there's a reason why it's 214 applied points. Mm-hmm. It's amongst two of the slowest teams in the NBA. I think Scotty and Jalen Johnson are much more of priorities to me.
Yeah.
But Paolo, you could definitely play Paolo.
Markkanen's under 10%. Buzelis is the highest. He's 40%.
Yeah.
Jabari, Filipowski, if there ends up being no Nurkic, like how are you figuring out the rest of this mid range?
Yeah, I mean, Buzelis, the ownership is matching what the minutes could look like tonight. 42. He might play 42 minutes. I mean, he was on pace. He didn't play the final, let's see what the final minute, he didn't play the final 4 minutes against the Bucks. So he would have touched 40 minutes if he played. No reason to think in the current iteration that he wouldn't play 40 again. So yeah, we have talked about it ad nauseum, John, and apparently we're back in like the COVID season when the teams are just with 8 all the time. When a team has 8 players, there are players that are going to play like 40 minutes. We saw it for the Pacers. We saw it last night for the Thunder. We're going to see it for the Bulls. It just kind of is what it is. So we're plugging Buzelis. I'll just say we're probably plugging Patrick Williams too. And we're just moving on. There's plays in between them. Like if Nurkic isn't starting and it's Filipowski, then obviously Filipowski would be in play. There's also like multiple layers to that because we need to know the Kevin Love status as well. But if Love were to be ruled out and Nurk isn't starting, then we're playing Filipowski. I think Murray Boyles is a little bit more interesting. I think there's a case to see his minutes go up a little bit with Barrett out. They could even possibly go the Mamukelashvili Murray Boyles lineup every once in a while. I think Keldon coming off a monster game in a pace-up spot. If Dylan Harper's out again, more minutes there. Toby is safe. Like all those plays are like fine, right? Yep. But like then Patrick Williams is 4,100 just sitting down there like, hey guys, like I am gonna play 40 tonight. And then, we don't know what's gonna happen with Detroit. If Toby sits, you have Stewart, you have Holland. So that's basically the power forward for you. And then you could play Watkins here as well, which is another one. But his ownership's actually stuck around today. I've been kind of surprised by that all day. Jameer Watkins ownership.
He's just $3,200, right? So they're just
with 10 guys available in addition.
All right, going on over to the center position. Again, Patrick Williams, because he has the eligibility, is currently your highest rostered center. But Wemby's right below him, 25% at 10K. Yusuf Nurkic is there. If he starts, he's up over 20% as well. Jalen Smith there on 19%. So two or not to play Victor Wembanyama this evening.
Yeah, I mean, at 10K, I don't mean to just like keep repeating myself, but it's too cheap for what the ceiling is, right? On Victor.
Yeah.
Do I think he's the best spend up? No, I think Jalen Johnson's the best spend up. But I think Victor looks damn good, and there's obviously a world where you can get both because neither are like too expensive today. So yeah, I think Victor is absolutely playable. Big pace-up spot. Dallas has played fast all year. They allow more points in the paint than any other team in the NBA. That's, Daniel Gafford's their real, like Daniel Gafford, Musa Cisse, and Dwight Powell is their center room. Like that's, and they've allowed the most with Anthony Davis and Derek Lively playing at times, right? Like, and so, yeah, I think Wemby looks incredible today.
Obviously, if Nurkic starts, we're all in there, but Jalen Duren's only 10%. I mean, this is like the spot for centers this year. I took the over 11.5 rebounds for him today because he's not someone that plays more than 30 minutes most nights anyways. So it's not like I'd be like, oh, he's going to lose minutes in a blowout. Like he might just play 28 like he normally does and, go out there and have a big rebounding day. And if K gets ruled out, obviously that only helps, maybe this game stay a little bit closer. I really like Jalen Duren tonight. No one's on him.
Yeah, I think that it's like the holy grail of spots for players that like Jalen Duren, right? The Wizards allow the 6th most points in the paint. They are 26th in rebounding. They're 29th in defensive rating. Duren's going to score in the paint. He's going to rebound, and they stink defensively. And oh, by the way, they play at the 6th fastest pace in the NBA too. Like, it's a dream spot for Duren, who's going to score at the rim. 23% usage, 1.3 fantasy points per minute. If Cade's ruled out, he's like the best play of the slate. They run their offense through Jalen Duren. Like, it goes from spam pick and roll with Cade to actually everything through Jalen Duren.
If you remember, there was like a stretch last season we were just betting the assist prop on Jalen Duren because the books weren't adjusting to the new role that he was playing as like the hub of their offense. So wouldn't mind a return of that, but I just took the over rebounds because he could have like 7 rebounds in the first quarter of this game. So if Jameer Watkins is out there bricking shots all day. So I like Duren a lot as a pivot. And obviously if Nurkic starts, you can play him. If he's not starting, as we've said time and time again, you absolutely have to run away because he will not see the floor. So
what leverage that would be on the field if you play Jalen Duren in the 7 p.m. game and 20% of the field is playing Yusuf Nurkic and he doesn't start.
At 7:02, you get Nurkic not starting, you know?
Or you just get like Kyle Filipowski, Kevin Love starting at center, right? One of those two. What leverage you would have, because everybody in that situation is scrambling at that time, because you can't play Duren. He's gone. He is locked, right? So it also could, I think.
Filipowski power forward only? Am I not?
Power forward only. Yeah, he's power forward only.
So you can't even pivot to Filipowski if you had Nurkic in your
Can't even, unless you're playing him util and then you're burning a 7th, which isn't the worst because.
No. I mean, if you're playing Nurkic, you have to util him almost, right? Like, otherwise, there's $1,100 between the next center you pivot down to.
Well, I guess it depends, like because you could play Patrick Williams. Like, there's plenty of games. There's plenty.
I know, but I'm saying like there's a significant amount of money you'd have to then rearrange your lineup for. So
if you're playing Nurkic, you should have the 2v2 ready, right, or a 3v3 ready, regardless. So like, because like you don't want to be scrambling at 7-6 because the Jazz don't announce 30 minutes. It's like.
Dude, one day they didn't at all. We had to find a random Australian beat writer that follows them on like a sport fan page that actually had their starting lineup that day. So
that guy is still tuned. Dude, he is tuned into the.
He's the only Jazz beat writer I rely on at his 3,000 followers from the Aussie account.
And he's not even a beat writer. He's just like
he writes for a fan page or something.
Writes for a fan page.
It's like brothers would like janitor. I don't know. Sure. So, anyways, if Nurkic starts, you can play him. If he doesn't start, run away. Yep. I really like Duren as in general, it's just as a pivot play or a leverage play on the field. Again, Jalen Smith, they're just lacking bodies to play center. So Jalen Smith has double Upside here. Day'Ron Sharp. What were you going to say? We'll talk about Day'Ron afterwards. What were you going to say?
What do you think? Are you at all worried about Jalen Smith's minutes?
I mean, you probably should be a little bit. They only played 20 in that game, but they did lose by 16. He's coming back from the injury, maybe. Like, I don't know. I feel like
it was a calf.
Yeah, he still had 16 and 5.
Jalen Smith, baby.
They should play him more. If they don't, he's still not probably going to kill you because of how ridiculously productive he is. And they need bigger bodies, man. They're going to be going up against CMB and Sandro, so like they're going to need a center.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious. Like, I think if the game was more competitive, he probably comes back in that game, and it's probably like 23. Probably like looking at it, Okoro came back at 349. Probably something like 24, 23, 24. Which isn't great at 6,200. But like you said, I mean, it's him and Lachlan Obrick that are 6'8" on this team because Nick Richards is not available. So I don't know. I'm just I'm a little worried because the calf. The only thing they said it was like calf cramps versus like a strain. Yeah. You know, like I've woken up in the middle of the night to my calf cramping. Mm-hmm. I've been good to go the next day, you know. Right. The next day I've picked up my son and ran down the hallway and dunked a basketball on him Like I've done that.
Yeah. I agree. The sharp thing is in a blowout, he gets extended. You get 22 and 26 minutes, as we've seen. And 19, 14, and 5, ridiculous output at 50 fantasy points, 8 and 11, 19 fantasy points, 18 minutes. He gives you 28. They're 9.5 point underdogs here on the road against Orlando. If they get blown out or there's a game that gets out of hand and there's a chance for him to be extended, he can put up some big numbers here.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't play a max price Daron Sharp at 5,300, truthfully, but I get it. He is definitely better in props tonight than he is in DFS at $5,300.
Yeah, I would agree. It was over 7.5 rebounds we took for him today, but there's obviously an outside chance that if the game does get out of hand, he could see, or if Sexton gets into some foul trouble there. Diabate's 52. We did have the early comment. Will he be tonight's Kada in that matchup against Houston? I feel like that was just a random.
Yeah.
Houston just didn't look at Boston that night. They're like, no Jaylen Brown, we're good to go. And then they got blitzed. So, Derek White and Dane Pritchard just didn't miss shots.
They did not. No, they did not.
And they can do that. All right. So where else would you look at center then?
I don't have like a lot else. Pat Williams, I think Vucevic is okay at 36. Pretty much paves the way for him to be the backup center tonight with Marvin Bagley traded. So I think Vucevic at 36 looks pretty good.
Okay. Anything else?
Not really. Gofies told me to hydrate. Sure. I'm not saying like yesterday.
Get the calf cramps, yeah.
Always hydrating, especially when I'm sick. I have to hydrate. I've coughed 7,000 times in the show.
You need some Berry Light in your life,
And then our thoughts on Kawamura, definitely in play. Jim, every bull that is available tonight is in play. Unfortunately, Mac McClung not available on the
not available on the slate. I thought you were saying not available in the game.
No, not available in our lives. Okay. And Anthony wants to know, is affordable viable? Affordability is good, a good thing, Anthony, for sure. I don't even know who affordable could possibly be. Like, I don't even know what that could possibly be.
I don't know. All right, I got Ivy Johnson, Patrick Williams in here. How many more Bulls are we playing? Bazelis?
Probably. I mean, dude, they have eight players. All of them. Any of them.
I hear you.
I guess they could, in theory, have 9. If Sexton's Kevin Love is out.
Okay. So they have to play Nurkic, or they have to dress Nurkic?
No. So that makes 9 because they have Shibwe available.
Oh, okay. So they don't need Nurkic at all. They're just playoffs with Shibwe.
So if Nurkic is available and doesn't play tonight, they have 8, right?
Yeah.
Because the other night they had 8 available, but Nurkic did not play. They had 7.
This is kind of an annoying positional eligibility for this team.
Because power forward is absolutely stacked and loaded.
Yeah. And I got to play Williams and Bazelis basically at center and forward here. And I guess we did Cooper Flag at small forward and just do this. 5,400 a player, Ivy, Flag, Johnson, Williams, and Bazelis. Or do you have a preference of something else here?
No.
Okay.
Look, what I'll say is we didn't actually have the question. Daniel Gafford, affordable. That's a great iPhone autocorrect. I hope that's an autocorrect. Daniel Gafford into affordable. Sure. He wasn't at the deadline. That's why he wasn't traded.
If you're John Moran, what do you feel like hearing like teams weren't going after you? Does that hurt you, or do you like nobody wants you, man?
Who's more upset, John Morant that he's still in the Grizzlies, or Trae Young that he's traded to the Wizards?
Trae Young's probably thrilled right now.
Yeah,
he's got Anthony Davis, right?
You guys season to make so much money. Ja's definitely upset. Daniel Gafford definitely in play if he plays. And we didn't get any of the questions about max Bulls. If they only have 8, I would play 4. I would in tournaments possibly play 5.
All right, so Ivy, Flag, Johnson, Williams, Bazelis right now. I'll go ahead and update the ownership for you guys over on site so you can have that. Check out the updates in the playbook. Roster locks at 7 o'clock Eastern time, everybody. We do appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll have the preview show for Friday coming out a little bit later tonight. We'll see you then.